Hi, it's Hazel, and welcome to my channel, Hazel and Aka Design. I am especially thrilled that you are here for this video. It's going to be, obviously the title will explain to you that it's an announcement. One I have been literally waiting years to do, but you know, anybody can just blurt something out. I thought it might be a good time to repeat or introduce people to the idea of using mind maps. My camera is set lower than normal today. I have an array of pens here, and far more than I need, but I wanted to be able to pick a variety of colors and to use colors that are more likely to be visible on the screen. So, what is a mind map? Well, let me begin by saying this little exercise, this little demo here, is going to be a bit contrived because I've already made the decision. I know what I've been, like I say, I've been living with this idea rattling around in the back of my head for probably 3+ years now, maybe 4. And but if you are on the cusp of trying to make a decision, sometimes the best thing you can do is pull out a piece of paper and do your thinking on paper. So I was first introduced to mind maps when I was at well, let's just say there was a time in my life when I was investing thousands of dollars in personal development, which meant that if there were some, excuse me, some world-class speakers coming to my city, I would have a ticket and I would be there. And of course, one speaker leads to another, one book leads to another, one set of, back in the day, CDs led to another, and so on and so on. Anyway, people who are serious in those sorts of situations, of course, take notes because we know that memories are fleeting and details quickly, escape our minds. So I was sitting next to a woman who was doing this, I thought, really intriguing note-taking. And so she explained it was a mind map, and I, of course, and must have said a little bit about it, but I did a little research when I got home. And of course, if you Google mind maps, you will see all sorts of examples. I think that when I have used it over the course of my life since then, it's when perhaps, I remember very distinctly using it when I had a number of things that I wanted to address with somebody in a phone meeting. And, yes, a person could make a list, but quite often our thoughts have sub-thoughts or baby thoughts. They have sort of a branching type effect to them. So one thought leads to another and so on. Anyway, the way I do it, and let me just pick a color. Typically what I do, number one, a plain piece of paper. Let's pick something that's going to be a little thicker. So I would draw a circle in the middle. That's not a circle. And again, if we didn't know that if I didn't know where this was going, I would put the topic or the issue or the dilemma in the center thing. So let's just, well, for the sake of having something to put in there, YouTube feature, well, feature series, let's call it. And then using typically a variety of colors, and that way, well, let's just do it. So you draw a line from that central idea And let's just call this inspiration, because there are a few points I did want to make. And again, a circle. So how was I inspired? Well, I'm going to say 49 dragonflies. I'm going to say Martha, as in Martha Makes Art. So maybe another thing would be to choose or to have, like, usually there's in most situations there would be sort of well, let's, for lack of a better term, let's call it next steps. So presumably you come up with the idea and then you decide, okay, this is a brilliant idea, but what do I need to do? So in this case, let's say Canva. And that, for those of you who may not have tried it yet, there is a free version online that allows you to do some rudimentary graphic design. So Canva. So in other words, a way to spread the word. I'm just going to, and I'm being kind of cagey on purpose. Like, these things mean something to me. And as I finally make the announcement, you will see that, you'll understand why I'm saying what I am. Let's call this brainstorm list. Let's call the next one invite. And of course, at any time, it's a quick way to capture these ideas. And at any time, obviously, I can keep adding. As long as my paper's big enough, I can keep adding. Okay, so the inspiration, what would I have to do to make it happen? Maybe what are the perceived benefits? Because most of the time, if we're doing something, we want there to be a good result. We want there to be, so I'm going to say YouTube, well, let's just call it stats, because stats are a variety of things. Their subscribers, their likes, their comments. Sorry, that's stats. I'm going to say relationship. Whoa, my printing is getting kind of sloppy. Relationships. This will seem like a weird one. Curiosity. What else? What else? What else? And of course, I didn't do this, so you're literally seeing. I'm giving you a peek inside my own mind, and it's very scary in there, so you may want to look away at times. But seriously, this is how it would do, how it would unfold in real life. And I hope that as I'm talking and demonstrating, that you think of issues or dilemmas or whatever that maybe you're struggling with, and imagine what you would be putting in the circles. Okay, benefits, YouTube, relationships, curiosity. Let's do experience. Okay, what else? What else? What else? There has to be something more. I've got half a page left. Maybe I should have thought this through a little bit before I turned on the camera, eh? Oh, let's call one skills required. And again, if I should have also said that any of these could also have little branches off them. So let's just fake an example here. Which one? Well, okay, I hope this is the right color, but say from Canva, let's call it thumbnail. That's not the same color. And poster. So in other words, a way to spread the word. Oh, see, that could be another category. I've used blue already. Maybe this is, whoops, maybe this is a different blue. So promotion. What good is an idea if you don't promote it? So promotion. So let's say YouTube announcement. So that's what this is. And maybe, imagine, Instagram. Do an Instagram post, Hazel. Let's call it word of mouth. Let's call it channel. I think they changed it from a community to channel post. And okay, word of mouth is me talking about it, say in upcoming videos and so on and so on. Okay, so skills required. Get rid of cough. Well, and I almost feel like I'm going to repeat curiosity here. I'm going to put, and these are pretty, you know, nebulous kind of concepts. Rapport. Generosity. Oh, let's do StreamYard. Oh, I just thought of another benefit. I hope this is the right color. Engagement. Chat. Engagement. I thought of something else here too. Was this... That's not the right color, or is it? No, it isn't. Maybe it was this one. Schedule. How can I not have used this one? Or maybe that's what I used there. Okay, skills required, generosity, work, curiosity, StreamYard. Maybe that's good enough. I didn't want this to turn into a whole thing. Okay, so let me finally reveal the answer, the idea, and maybe touch on some of these points. So years ago, I remember seeing Barbara from 49 Dragonflies interview Louise Hazel, and I loved it. She had other guests after that, and she, I mean, I've seen other sorts of things. I've forgotten the name of the channel, but it's an Australian woman who did a series of those, and I absolutely loved them because I'll just say, for those of you who may not know me, and maybe won't even believe this, but I've discovered late in life that I am in fact an introvert. Don't get me wrong. I love people, but in small doses, and they sort of have to be the right people as well. They have to be people that I find a connection, and I don't want that to sound snobbish or judgmental or whatever. But let's face it, there are some people that it's easier, that you feel more inclined to talk to over a longer period of time, or at least I do, depending on the degree of rapport and so on. So I'm the kind of person that never got the memo about don't talk to strangers. I remember when I grew up, when I was born in Edmonton, but by grade 3 we had moved to the farm, grew up at the farm, and then of course eventually you graduate and it's time to move to the big city. So of course, I wasn't married yet. I guess I didn't have a car, and so you take public transit. And I was the dork that used to say good morning to the bus driver, for heaven's sakes, and, talk to other people. And I still do that. And I think sometimes it annoys, surprises, distresses whoever I'm with, husband, child. And, but it's ultimately rewarding to me because I always learn something. I also have a fundamental belief that whoever you and I have turned out to be is a direct result of, well, obviously the genetic material that we were given and the environment in which we were raised. But more importantly than that, or not more importantly, but equally important, is every book we've read, every experience we've had, every encounter we've had. Now, if we're paying attention, we we learn something from every single encounter that we have. So I can, and I'll use, well, let's just pick on Kim Newberg as an example. So I spent a number of days with her last March when we met for the first time in Winnipeg. And that was a wonderful experience. And because it was over several days, her impact on me, and hopefully my impact on her, was more significant than if I engage an acne-covered cashier at the grocery store. It's I'll talk to both people, but in one case it's extended and deeper, in another case it's kind of short and superficial. But either way, I learned something. So we are the end result of everything, every book we've read, everything we've done, every person we've encountered, and it all piles up and mixes up, and that's I think why some people are, say, maybe a more detailed tapestry, and others are maybe like just a cotton blanket kind of thing. However, there is value in all those encounters. So 49 dragonflies. Love the idea, but of course, how could I make that happen? I couldn't. I didn't. Who did I know? What did I know? Not much. Then I happened to tune in to Martha Makes Art, and I caught the tail end of a live she was doing. And I kind of liked the laid-back style, blah, blah, blah. One thing led to another. I guess I don't know if she does this every time, but she was closing her live out by saying, and if anyone wants to, join me for a live, just reach out and whatever, through email, I guess. So I did. So I guess that is another indication of we take a step. We don't just, cross our fingers and hope that someone comes knocking at our door. Sometimes we have to risk taking the step. So I reached out to her. Long story short, we decided on a date, and I joined her as a guest. And I had so much fun. And because, I was able to do my thing and she did her thing and kept an eye on the chat, and and maybe it's because I'm alone. Obviously, retired, don't have any reason or any desire most days to leave the house. I'm here solo doing my thing. Great for an introvert. But I think that also means that when I have a chance to talk to somebody, I I grab it with both hands. So I had a lot of fun, and I could tell from some of the comments in the chat that people liked my contribution to the event. And I don't want to overstate that. I mean, that's for everyone to decide in their own mind. So, skills required. StreamYard, that's a huge one. So the other day, so I'm taping this on Saturday. I'm going to post this today. This is, I think, April, what would it be, the 6th maybe? And so it's great to have an idea, but if you don't have the software, say, to be able to bring it to fruition, then what good is it? So with some help from Joni, like Joni and I do these live sales once a month, and now we have 3 under our belt. And after the second one, we decided that we would host it on my channel, which meant that I had to jump into the deep end and learn StreamYard fast like. And I have to say, and I tend not to blow my own horn. It makes me uncomfortable. I feel that if people see something in me or admire something in me, it's up to them to say it, not for me to beat you over the head with it. But I will admit that it went better than I thought, and that platform is easier than I thought, and I'm glad I did it. And it was the missing piece here. So, I don't know, maybe I need to actually tell you the idea, and some of the rest of this will fill in. So, what I did was I decided that I am going to do a live interview with somebody. And I haven't decided on frequency yet. I think it will depend on how this goes and how this grows and what it does to YouTube stats. Although, if you know me, that's certainly not one of the first things I think of. I feel like this is my platform to do what I want to do. And if the numbers, if the subscribers go up, if the views go up, if the comments go up, that's as a result of me loving what I'm doing, not because I have some cold-blooded analytical plan for if I do A and B, then C will result. So I'm calling it Heart to Heart with Hazel. And the subtext here is real conversations with real women. Now, of course, that doesn't mean that I wouldn't talk to a man. It's just that let's be real here. There aren't that many men with channels that are likely to. And of course, should that man come across, if I were to come across that man, I would do it in a heartbeat. So my first guest is Carol from Crinkled Path. We are doing this coming Thursday on the 10th at 8 p.m. Mountain. The goal is to go for an hour and a half, again, depending on how well it's going. It's going to be live. It's going to be on my channel. And are you ready for this? We're going to be showing our faces. Now, all of you, or many of you, have probably seen Carol. That's not news, but in my case, it will be a first. I don't do that easily. Frankly, it's more expedient to just, regardless of what a person is wearing or whether their hair is standing up on end, to just do a video hands only. However, in this little mind of mine, I'm kind of envisioning this like a a talk show. Um, and I can't, obviously Carol is someone that I've gotten to know and hopefully someone that I will be meeting in person. But the reason I love this idea so much, and the reason that I'm copying it, and the reason I'm making it my own, is that I am innately curious. So I don't only want to know what, I want to know why. So Carol and I had a phone conversation yesterday, I guess, and I said to her, I am not preparing a list of questions. I'm not sending you any questions. I want this to be as spontaneous and as real as if we were sitting across from each other in a coffee shop. I know that I have had those kinds of meetings with, Lorna Taylor and Brenda Clark and Kim and Thelma and Ruth and even that woman, and I've forgotten her name, that we accidentally bumped into in a Manitoba thrift store. You just have a conversation, and that is my goal here. And I hope, obviously, as I invite people through us, over time, hopefully they're going to be okay with that too, because I think I have, and this again, sorry about, blowing my own horn, but I do believe that I have a talent for asking good questions and for setting people at ease and drawing them out. Some people, need more drawing out than others, but that's okay. So, heart to heart implies that it's going to be more than the superficial stuff, like what is your favorite tool in the studio? We're going to be real and spontaneous and unrehearsed and genuine. I think those of you who have stuck with me for a long time or keep coming back to the channel have said that what you enjoy about my approach is that it is real. I don't edit. The flip side of that is I can't edit, but I don't edit out my mistakes. And I can't remember, someone just talked about that not so long ago, and I thought, amen, sister, because what the person was saying is that, and it could have been somebody who was in the Masterboard Madness collaboration, saying that they appreciate videos where they haven't been edited to within an inch of their lives, where the boo-boos and the faltering and the indecision and all of that have been edited away, so that the viewer is left with the idea that that person is perfect, that person never makes a mistake. And let's face it, that's not true of anyone. So that quite often the takeaways from my videos are, okay, well, that didn't work, or this would have worked better, so do it that way, if you choose. So this will be uncut and it will be live. And I think, that's partly too where this engagement comes in. Now, obviously, it would be, safer, easier, perhaps, more convenient for sure to do this and, just tape or schedule it for later. But the chat engagement. So if you join us, you will be able to, number one, comment and ask questions, agree, disagree with whatever is being said, and maybe, and also put in questions that you'd like me to ask on your behalf. Maybe something that's been keeping you awake nights and you really want to know about, whoever is the guest. Okay, so relationships. Well, let's maybe go back to this now. Okay, so the benefit here of the experience could be, I would say, twofold. And of course, in any successful endeavor, you want all the parties to win. So not only would it be additional experience for me, it will be additional and perhaps first-time experience for whoever the guest might be. Maybe someone else who has been reluctant to appear in a live and appear front-facing in a live. YouTube stats, of course, I hope that you all tune in. So that increases viewership. And who knows, maybe it leads to new subscribers as well. And of course, there's always the ability to watch a replay and so on. Relationships. It's going to deepen and enrich the relationships that I already have with people. Now, I don't know if this is possible, if it's feasible. I don't know where this might go, but I know that I have some, a handful of really loyal, engaged, loving subscribers. And if there is some way to do this with a subscriber who doesn't have a channel, that's something that I'm keeping in the back of my mind as well, because I think that for those of you who comment, you see those same names appearing over and over again. And I think some of you are just as aware of and appreciative of those subscribers as you are of some channel hosts, if that makes any sense whatsoever. And I'm thinking, and I'll just throw out a few names that come to the top of my head. Teresa, Terry, Susie. I have no idea if any one of those people would ever be game. I don't know if they have this mechanism. I honestly don't know how that would work. And at this point, I think my wish list of guests, and that's brainstorm list, is going to keep me going for a while. I should also say, like, under next steps, I have schedule. So in talking to Carol, we're trying to figure, okay, we're only an hour apart time zone wise, so that wasn't going to be hard. But, we're both busy. Initially, I thought this would be a great Sunday feature because I thought, people have time probably to kick back a bit on Sunday. Most people probably don't have to work, so they can indulge. Carol made a valid point that, the sale that Joni and I do is on a Thursday, the first Thursday of the month, that maybe there would be some coherence, some simplicity of the message if I confined my lives to Thursdays. So I thought that made sense because sometimes, like going forward, if I can say, well, and, tune in on Thursday for my regular heart-to-heart, that's easier for people to remember, presumably. Okay, we were doing this. I don't know about if curiosity even belongs there. Maybe I have it here as well. So I have the innate curiosity. I think it takes us, again, sorry, but I think it takes a certain generosity to be able to, as I said to Carol, you know what it's like when the big stars go on talk shows. They're there to promote books and movies and so on. And quite often that's the only reason they're there. It's part of that, schlepping around that they do to get people to look at them. So obviously there will be built-in time for people to plug whatever it is they're doing. Rapport. I think that's something that I can create with virtually anyone. And it's a sad day when I find that, oh yeah, I can't make it work with this guy or that girl. And of course, StreamYard I've already touched on. So, okay, how am I promoting this? Well, this video, for one thing, I will share this thing on Instagram. Hopefully you're going to help spread the word. I'll also be talking it up in videos that that I do between now and then, and as a channel post and so on. I think we've probably covered most of this. So I'll just show this to you again as a reminder. And I don't know whether you can see this or not, but it just burns my butt that I've got this faint little line that is not printing. So if you knew how much time I wasted yesterday cleaning the print nozzles and all of that, I have to get to the bottom of why that is doing it. But let's not digress. And I did this with my own little hands using Canva. Anyway, so it's heart to heart. My first guest is Carol from Crinkled Path. We're doing this on Thursday at 8 p.m. Mountain. And I would love to have you join us. And, you know, be prepared to well, I mean, do whatever you want. Be a silent observer or get engaged and comment in the chat, ask questions, prod me to ask certain questions that you have a burning desire to know. And I think that this is going to be, let's just put it this way. In my mind, it doesn't matter whether anyone tunes in or not. And I mean that seriously. I want to talk to these people. I have started a list, but I am also open to hearing. I'm taking requests. If there is somebody that you hope makes it onto my guest list, then by all means put that name or those names in the comments. And I'm thinking that before too long, that is not going to be an issue, getting people to to appear. And I am excited. I hope you are too. Thanks, guys. And we'll see you in the next one. Bye.